Listen, man. Listen. My brother. I know you might feel like your life is a lie, my brother, but at some point you got to get that hymen broke. Some point you got to pop that mental cherry and step outside of the limitations that you put onto yourself. As I've been growing in consciousness and encountering new people, I have understood that a lot of the things that I once stood for and was willing to die behind are things that I did not really understand. And that's just me confronting and really being honest with y'all and integrating my shadow into the way that I speak. Like I said, the things that I was willing to die before or die behind before, you feel me? Die before, die behind before, whatever the case may be. The things that I was standing on were not necessarily the correct things to stand on, at least in my opinion. You know, it's always going to be somebody who thinks differently. It's always going to be somebody who is completely for themselves and for their own way instead of integrating all ways into their way of life. And I can't do nothing but respect that. But for myself, I realized that closing my mind to certain things and pointing my finger and saying that's bad is not good. So, with that being said, I want to share my experience with y'all and talk to y'all about the Masonic mindset. Now, over these past couple of weeks, I've met a lot of people, a handful of people, and this handful of people, y'all know, spirit and spirituality, and since the veil is lifted, basically, you are going to come across people who is a mirror reflection of you 10 times easier. It's almost like JoJo's how all the stand users is being brawn or brawn. Man, I gotta hit the bed after this bitch. I ain't gonna lie. But it's almost like JoJo's how all of the stand users is not almost like shit. It is like JoJo's how all of the stand users or all of the spiritual people or all of the people who are on the same frequency are being brought into each other's lives and more are starting to come out. And with that being said, I met somebody who was very knowledgeable in the realm of Freemasonry, and I now understand that not all Freemasons are bad. And I've said this before. You know, I've had family members who was Freemasons, excuse me, high degree Freemasons. And it is true that some Freemasons is narcissistic, particularly on the Hollywood side. Some of them are narcissistic. Hollywood is really just a narcissistic. The parasite is a narcissistic system as a whole, and a lot of the people who run and contribute to the parasite, they do be Freemasons and they do be narcissists and people who just don't want to share and want to rule alone without having us in unity. Those type of people feed off of negative energy and feed off of just the detriment of others. And so when I was exposing all of these Freemasons and going at all of these Freemasons' neck and looking at the Freemasons, it's basically just another fraternity. The only difference between the Freemason fraternity and any other fraternity, like any of the what them niggas, the Divine Nine, all respect. I just started stuttering. Anything, it's the same shit basically. The only difference is they don't have any strolls or any step in music or nothing like that. They got the same symbols, they got the same hidden code, the hidden knowledge. It's the same concept. The only difference is it don't take place in no real or at least mainstream school setting. They try to hide the information because they want the knowledge and they want the enlightenment to be out of the hands of the average person. Because if most people, shit, if all people were receiving this same message that you are receiving right now, then they will be initiated into a realm or into a frequency that gives them the opportunity to take control of themselves. Right now, most people is not in control of themselves because they are asleep. They aren't in a state of remembrance. But once you are in a state of remembrance, like, holy shit, this is my life. This is my life. I can control myself. I can control my thoughts. Ultimately, I can control my reality. Once you get into that state of remembrance and start to train yourself in ways to align with that remembrance, then you become a threat to the narcissistic society, aka the parasite, aka the system, the industry, whatever you want to call it. You become a threat to them. However, they is vibrating out of our reality, so it's nothing they can do now. Literally, I just be existing and I be hearing people like, yeah, you know, the matrix this, the matrix that. We got to keep our eyes open. I ain't say shit because in reality, or at least, you know, in my immediate reality, I just be walking around. I don't be putting all these people in my business, but just know in my head I was smiling. I was smiling in my head. That made my heart a little, hey, it made my heart a little happy to see that people are actually acknowledging what the fuck is going on. You see what I'm saying? Now, with that being said, a lot of people don't understand the basic principle of a Mason. And I can confidently say that I have a Masonic mindset now that I understand what it is. It's basically a growth mindset. It's just another word for it. So if you want to call it that, then you can call it that. But I have a growth mindset. And that's all these Masonic niggas be wanting to do is grow their mindset. Now, I've never been the type to join a group or want to be a part of a big group. I've always been a sovereign man. And I just got put hit to what that means the other day. A sovereign man is basically a free man, a man who is not bound to any group or organization. A sovereign man is a man who just, you know, studies, looks, wanders, stays to himself, governs himself. That's exactly what the fuck I am. And there's nothing wrong with that. And there's nothing wrong with you doing whatever the fuck you want to do. I just know that I'm a sovereign man. And while being a sovereign man, I just started to learn a lot of things. And these things that I was learning, they led me to a conclusion. Not only was my thought process towards masonry wrong, um, because of the perspective and the viewpoint that I had, but also when it came down to me exposing all of these humiliation rituals, I started to understand that these people are not doing these things for no reason. That when they give themselves up to these elites are basically buck breaking them. I don't know if y'all know what buck breaking is, but it's like breaking the spirit of a person. That is what was done to all of these streamers that y'all was seeing. Their spirit was being broken. All of these rappers that y'all are seeing, their spirit was being broken. It's almost like what a pimp would do to his hoes before he would put his hoes out on the street so that his hoes could listen to whatever he say. It's the same concept. The industry would break down these people spiritually, mentally, and sometimes even physically so that they can do the bidding of whatever the fuck they want them to do, carry out whatever they want them to carry out, all to feed the narcissistic tendencies that is within this system. So now that I understand that, man, and when I was coming to an understanding of it, it went to, I just had a mental shift in my mind. I had a mental shift that I don't want to contribute to this same shit. If I want to heal, I want to heal everybody I possibly can. Just that simple. If that means that I gotta temporarily sacrifice a couple of views, then that's all it means. But hey man, it is what it is. I hope this makes sense to y'all. And you probably got a Masonic mindset, whether you like it or not. Anyways, man, make sure y'all show love to the channel. Show love to the Twitch. I'm gone.